if he wasn't assassinated 50 years ago today, President John F. Kennedy would now be 96 years old. Polls show most Americans still believe his death was part of a conspiracy, even a half-century later. In a new book, one famous author reveals who he thinks really killed JFK. One of the greatest conspiracies of all time is the focus of best-selling author and History Channel host Brad Meltzer's new book, History Decoded.
Let's get rid of all the myths and the nonsense and show people the actual truth. To me, the scariest story of all is the true story.
After researching President Kennedy's 1963 assassination, Meltzer says the evidence points to just one man, but most Americans still believe it was a conspiracy.
Because they don't want to believe Lee Harvey Oswald out there alone, because if he did, it means our entire government could be jackknifed by a college dropout. And that's a scary thought. It makes us almost seem like we're living in a world that doesn't make sense.
Meltzer says the conspiracy theories will never end because of how Oswald died.
When Jack Ruby killed Lee Harvey Oswald, there went our ability to question the one man who pulled the trigger.
Nightclub owner Jack Ruby shot Oswald inside Dallas Police Headquarters 2 days after JFK died.
There are good questions to ask. How did Jack Ruby get past all those guards?
History Decoded also looks into other questions like what Oswald was doing in Russia for 2 years.
It's amazing to read what the government knew about this guy years before he shot at JFK.
Meltzer still doesn't think JFK's death was a conspiracy, but he understands why so many people do.
Decade by decade, if you want to know who killed JFK, it's whoever we were most afraid of at that moment in time.
Meltzer says Americans blame JFK's death on the Russians and Cubans during the Cold War of the 60s. Then it was the government in the 70s because of Watergate, and the mafia after gangster movies of the 80s.
Even if you got the real answer, I don't think it'll ever satisfy us because we suffered so much loss on that day.
And another reason the conspiracy theories live on, the CIA still hasn't declassified thousands of pages of files on the JFK assassination. Those documents are set to be released to the public in 2017, unless the president at the time decides they need to stay classified.
Well,